All right, so we are back with another episode of the Wrestling Philosopher podcast. Today I'm in a classroom where I teach because I feel like recording this in my car. So we are here now. First thing I want to discuss is the Flowrestling Night in America, the event with Spencer Lee and Masanosuke Ono. And then I think some technical difficulties that Spencer Lee had that I think would be very critical for him to clean up in the future if he wants to essentially get the better of that matchup. So, overall, the event, again, I know this was a while ago, but I want to talk about it anyway. I found it to be a ton of fun. I really enjoyed watching that event the other day. Granted, we're about a week later, but still, really, I think it was last week. Ton of fun. I really enjoyed it. Great pacing, great matchups, great enthusiasm from the crowd. I've been to that arena in Coralville, Iowa for the World Cup in 2022. Incredible venue. I like to see it travel more if possible. I know it's kind of hard for wrestling to travel in general, or big cards like this to even exist, but I really enjoyed it. The three premier bouts on the card. I'm starting with Zahid and Trent Hidley. Great matchup for Zahid. Really, Zahid's kind of owned that matchup for the most part. He looked great. I'm really thinking Zahid's going to be the guy, 86 kilos this year. I don't really see anybody really getting in his way. Potentially a Parker or a Carter Starachi, but then I don't know if they'll want some time off in between. The World Team Trials and the U.S. Open are very fast after NCAAs. We'll see where that goes. David Carr beating Takatani was something I did not expect at all. Takatani really took it to Dake at the Olympic Games, and I didn't see David's ability of getting the double, going right to the lace. From what we've seen in the past is something he can do. I just didn't see it happening. I just thought Takatani was going to be too good, too fast, too offensive. But I also will lean to this. It's talked about a lot at these ranking series tournaments. If it's not the World Championships, pretty much everyone except for the United States will be kind of taking it like, oh, I'm just like going to go to a tournament real quick. No big deal. Kind of like how we treat every other tournament except for NCAAs in America. You lose a match at a dual meet, you lose a match at like the Southern Scuffle, no one really cares. They look at the Europeans or foreigners in general will look at a match like this like, oh, it's just a match, I lost. So I mentioned that because I don't know if that was the best Takatani that we've ever seen. It definitely wasn't the best one we've ever seen because he lost. But I don't know if even tactics-wise that was up to snuff of what he could do. So overall, super impressive. Are we putting a lot of weight on it right now? I don't know if it's a lot. Some for sure, though. I watched a video Chael Sonnen put out about David Carr, and essentially David Carr's biggest issue will be getting out of the country. I think he does have the style to be lethal at the highest level. He had a match with Saul Kazanov a couple weeks back. That did not go well, but he could still find a way to get matchups like that done if he's moving his hands, moving his feet, creating angles. But David Carr's got to get out of the U.S. Will he have to go through a Messenbrink, a Keegan, potentially a Shapiro from Cornell? Hard to say. Then going to Spencer Lee versus Masanosuke Ono. The hype for this match was incredibly high. I really loved this matchup. I didn't really know who to pick. I ended up with Spencer right before the match, and there have been moments with Spencer Lee whenever he's been doubted that I've found that he just kind of blows the doors off of people. I remember, I think it was his sophomore year, he lost to Sebastian Rivera twice, really kind of crushed NCAAs after that, and then went on a really tough run. After he loses to Matt Ramos, and he defaults out of the U.S. Open, we're kind of not sure who's going to be the guy come 2024 for the Olympics. He gets to the trials, and he just rolls through it, but he pins Thomas Gilman in the finals, and he was rolling him up, rolling everybody up. And then once he got to the last chance qualifier, rolled everybody up except for Zhao. And then he goes to the Olympics, makes the finals. So, like, anytime Spencer's semi-doubted, I found, like, man, the guy finds a way to make it look easy. He did not make this look easy. This was a very tough matchup for Spencer, and I thought this was a possibility, but I didn't put the thoughts together as much. One thing I've noticed about Spencer Lee for a while now, and I've watched these ultimate highlights done by Wrestling Rabbit Hole. I will link that in the description. Spencer Lee, when he shoots, he actually doesn't penetrate very deep into the legs. He kind of falls onto a leg, or like sweeps low onto a leg, and I found that interesting. And he was usually on his knees. He was kind of scooting, and I wonder if that habit is why he's had so many knee issues in the past. That is just a thought. I don't think there's any weight to that, but it's a thought I've had. I see him kind of falling onto legs, but he's always quick, because once his hands are locked, he really postures up right away and finishes fast. But to get to a leg, he doesn't do like a step knee step. That doesn't happen usually. He'll kind of hand fight and then leap and catch a leg and then go from there. I mention that because when he tried to do that with Ono, no legs were there, because Ono's hands were so tight and his torso was so forward that Spencer had no way to get through the hands and couldn't get to a leg to even start to open up a shot. And then Ono was digging an underhook, pushing him so far back that Spencer had no way to even start. And even if Spencer did have something to start, Ono was so much lower. Spencer seemed to be really high up as well. So Ono did a great job. He even got to his primary attack. Didn't finish, so that shows like this is not some sort of fait accompli matchup that Spencer can't beat Ono. Now, Spencer didn't get anything offensive on Ono. Didn't even get a push-out. Ono got 3 push-outs, and that was the match. This is still a very tight matchup at the end of the day. I will say if Spencer wants to beat Ono, he's got to find a different way to get to legs. Does he need to do the classic heel-toe knee step, the penetration step for the shot? That I don't know right now. But it is an observation I had. If you watch this ultimate highlight done by Wrestling Rabbit Hole, who just does incredible things in general, I would say you'll notice this tendency he has for getting to legs. He does it often, and he makes it work. I don't have 3 NCAA titles. I'm not a 5-time All-American, excuse me. But it's something I noticed, and it's worth noting. So he's got to find a different way to get to legs. And he's got to find a way in these kind of body... Oh, no! The lights are off. This is hilarious. Classroom, hold on. There we go. I'm leaving this in. Anyway. In these body exchanges, like underhook, something like that, and I saw this in the Olympics as well, I want to see Spencer, if possible, start to use his feet to trip people, because he gets in a moment where he could drag, and he wants to drag all the way around. But if he uses his foot potentially to trip somebody in the middle of that, or even just using his feet a little bit more in general, a la Adam Saitiev, and real quick pause. Rest in peace, Buvasar Saitiev. I don't know how he died. There seems to be some foul play accusations. I'm not an investigator on that yet, but rest in peace to the GOAT. Anyway, a la Adam Saitiev, who uses his legs and underhooks and a lot of different interesting positions a lot. I think that can go Spencer's way well. And I think those would open up scramble opportunities. I think Spencer would win. So I want to see Spencer get to legs in a different way, potentially be lower or matching Ono's level, and then in these upper body exchanges, using his feet. And he has used his feet in things like when he's finishing a single really high, especially on the outside, he'll go for an inside trip. I like to see him using it kind of like just a normal trip every here and there. I think that could be beneficial. I would like to do a technical breakdown like of what is happening with Spencer and potentially what could potentially work. I'll get to that eventually, because this weekend I'm going to Fresno. I'm going to compete. I'm very, very excited. And that's all I have for this. I hope you enjoyed. Flowrestling Night in America, great event. I look forward to many more. Spencer Lee versus Ono. I say as of right now, that's the most interesting rivalry in wrestling. I look forward to many more matches, and I look forward to many more episodes. Peace.